Here we go, bearing grape apology video volume 4000 and something. The woke people are not going to like this. So Russell Brand released a video on Friday preempting some allegations he'd been made aware of. You've no doubt seen the video, but here's a recap.
I've received two extremely disturbing letters, or a letter and an email, one from a mainstream media TV company, one from a newspaper, listing a litany of extremely egregious and aggressive attacks, as well as some pretty stupid stuff. But amidst this litany of astonishing, rather baroque attacks are some very serious allegations that I absolutely refute. Is there another agenda at play? Particularly when we've seen coordinated media attacks before, like with Joe Rogan when he dared to take a medicine that the mainstream media didn't approve of, and we saw a spate of headlines from media outlets across the world using the same language.
Then over the weekend, Channel 4 dispatchers published a bunch of tweets promoting Channel 4's upcoming segment Russell Brand in Plain Sight, based on a year-long investigation they'd done with the Times newspaper. Exclusive, Russell Brand denies accusations of rape, sexual assault and controlling and emotionally abusive behaviour. 5 women share their stories with Channel 4 dispatchers in a joint investigation with the Times. Watch Russell Brand in Plain Sight tonight at 9 PM on Channel 4. For more than a year, Channel 4 and the Times have been investigating Russell Brand's treatment of women. Accusations include incidents which took place within the work environment of primetime TV shows. In response to the allegations in this film, Russell Brand said, "These allegations pertain to the time when I was working in the mainstream, and as I've written about exclusively in my books, I was very, very promiscuous." If you've got a story, email dispatches@channel4.co.uk. Now, I watched the full hour and 20-minute long segment with my wife, and we both came to the same conclusion. This is a hit piece. It was very light on facts and very heavy on emotional manipulation. It was based on the anonymous allegations of 4 women who refused to appear on screen or attach their names to their allegations.
I phoned and somebody asked what it was regarding, and I said, that's regarding Russell Brand being a sex offender.
And one woman, Brand's ex-wife, who wrote about being aggressively fingered by her husband in an autobiography, she also refused to appear on screen. Now, the actors they used really sold these anonymous allegations, with sad, shaky voices, emotional pauses and distressed close-ups, all backed up by dark, ominous tones, just so we could feel the depravity of the whole situation. It felt overproduced and phony. The other curious thing about this is the timing of the whole thing. Russell Brand's amassed millions of viewers on YouTube and other social media platforms, and a big part of his draw is calling out the truth. There's a clip circulating of him speaking with Bill Maher about the absurdity of big pharma companies profiting off an unfortunate thing that happened over the last few years with the help of governments around the world. There's no way in hell I'm showing that clip, but it's easy to find. And as I said, the timing of this whole shebang is rather suspicious. I mean, we're talking about allegations from 10 to 20 years ago. Nobody went to the police and nobody went public at the time. They all came out anonymously when approached by the media. The fucking media. And now it's headline news on pretty well every media publication in existence. I mean, if the police were to get involved now, could he even have a fair trial? This shit's everywhere and everyone has an opinion on it. During the course of this thorough year-long media investigation, did nobody think, geez, if these allegations are so watertight, then maybe we should get the police involved? Now cue the believe all women lynch mob, who are going to say, I've always thought Russell Brand was creepy, and how dare you blame the victims? These women were assaulted and it's hard to speak up sometimes. My response would be, sure, he is a bit of a creep. What's fucking new? It's always been a part of his shtick. And what victims? With the exception of a bitter ex-wife who refuses to take any part in this, they're all anonymous. It's a bit rough trying to tear down a man's reputation and career when your source is trust me bro. Now, the most compelling evidence put forward on the Channel 4 segment was from Nadia, not her real name. The Times says Nadia alleges she was raped by Brand in Los Angeles in 2012. Our journalists went through a wealth of evidence provided by Nadia, which corroborated her claims. These included therapy notes from a rape treatment centre, text messages, details of call records, photographs and a version of a letter she says she sent to Brand about the impact of the alleged rape on her life. So she provided a text message exchange with Brand, where she's angry at him for not wearing a condom, and asks if she needs to get tested. This is followed up by a mostly blurred report from a rape treatment centre. The only parts we can read outline the alleged event that led her to attend the centre and the line. She reported that the situation for her was even more complicated due to the assailant's celebrity status. Now, it should be noted that her text message in the Channel 4 segment looks a lot different to her text message shown in the Times article. The version in the Times article has clearly been photoshopped in some capacity. There's a difference in text between the top half of the message and the bottom half, as well as some misalignment on the left margin. I mean, if they had a screenshot of the text message, why didn't they just publish the text message unaltered? Now, I'm using a series of tweets from the Times here, because there's no way I can show the Channel 4 segment on YouTube. Those fuckers are super trigger happy when it comes to copyright takedowns. Then we've got Alice, not her real name. The Times says, at the start of 2021, the Sunday Times was contacted by Alice, who had become aware of our investigation. She alleges Brand was sexually and emotionally abusive towards her in 2006, when she was 16 and he was 30. Alice had never spoken out before. 4 months earlier, she decided to contact Brand's agent with her allegations. The agent had passed her to a lawyer acting for Brand, who denied her allegations and took no further action. So she was dating Brand in London for a time when she was 16 and he was 30. Super creepy and fucked up, but apparently not illegal in the UK. She says she had to punch him in the stomach to get his thing out of her throat. Oh, and he left her in the bath until it was cold. That was part of the story for some reason. Then we've got Phoebe, not her real name. The Times says a short time later, the Times spoke to Phoebe, who claims she was sexually assaulted in 2013 while she was working at Brand's home. All the women's claims required corroboration, which took many hours of work. Now, during the Channel 4 segment, Phoebe explains that she had a sexual history with Brand and was in his bedroom one night while he was naked. Then he chased her around and got on top of her while his eyes glazed over and made him look super duper evil. Now, the final victim, according to Channel 4 but not the Times say there were 4 victims, whereas Channel 4 says there were 5, was a production runner / assistant to Brand when he was working on a Big Brother discussion panel show on Channel 4. She claims she walked into Brand's dressing room where he had his knob out, probably mid-wank, and asked her to take care of it. She declined and walked out of the room. See, there's a common story between all of these victims, with the exception of the last one I mentioned who just saw his knob. They were all willingly involved with Brand sexually. They all claim to have had a bad experience with him at some stage. They all stayed silent for years, and years after the experience, they all spilled the beans anonymously when approached by the media. The fucking media. Now, I'm not saying Brand isn't a sexual deviant. I'm not saying he didn't do these things he's being accused of. But I'm certainly not going to consider him guilty based on a media hit piece and a bunch of anonymous allegations. This man is innocent until he's proven guilty. If you have any comments, leave them down below or at my Twitter account, bear_ing. I'll see you in the next one. Ta-ta.